How's it going today, Dr. Greed?
Good. How are you, John?
Good, good. It's good to finally meet you in person. You know, put a name to a face.
It
I've
is,
heard a lot of
yeah.
that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm great friends with your father. We went to college together. Been business partners for many years, and he's a good guy. So I'm excited to meet you and hopefully do some business with you too.
Yeah, well, of course. You know, thanks for first of all coming out and meeting me here in HALAruba. You know, I know it's a busy time for you. I know you still have another job, so I just appreciate the time that you have to meet with me.
Of course, yeah, of course.
So, you know, we talked over the phone a little bit about some of the things we want to gain, you know, from this potential partnership. And I know one thing for me, you know, I want to really get my foot in the door. You know, this is an industry that I've always been curious about, and I just, you know, I know that you have some sage wisdom, and I'd just love for your feedback on some things, and you know, try to get some connections, and just really try to make a stamp on this industry.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, I've been in this industry for many years. I have many connections here, and really that's what it's all about here is the relationships and the networking, the people you know.
Yeah.
So.
How do you usually establish those relationships? Talk me through like a normal business deal that you go through with the company here in HALAruba.
So it's definitely with the people you know and your relationship with them, and you just get to know them by, I mean, after 20 plus, 30 plus years in, you know, through the business aspect of big companies and whatnot, you get to know a lot of people. You get to get a lot of connections, and it just opens the world of jobs and entrepreneur ideas and opportunities.
So you feel like your connections is what got you to your current job? Is that how you got to be CEO?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
So what does your job currently entail at Edison Bulbs? What do you do as the CEO?
So I run everything. There's a regional manager supervisor that comes once in a while to make sure sales are doing all right and everything. But I mean, I'm the CEO. You know, I'm in charge. I own more than half the company, or I own most of the company, and so yeah, I'm in charge of just about everything.
Okay. How much time do you usually spend a week, you know, just doing all the things that you do for Edison?
Right now I'm there full time. So, for right now I'm there full time.
Okay.
Depending on what we can, you know, hopefully get into.
Yeah.
That'll definitely change though.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I know for me, I'm just finishing school. You know, I have a lot of ideas, you know, a lot of things I want to accomplish, and for me, the time is the biggest commitment, and I just want to know when you'd be willing and able to come work with me, you know, and get this materials company started.
Whenever you're ready, man. I'm ready to go when you are.
Okay.
I really am. I'm excited. I know you're very excited about this, and you know, just coming off your MBA, it's awesome. And with your ideas and your excitement and my, you know, wisdom, as you called it, with all my years of experience and connections and networking, and I think that we can really kick it off and really just explode this whole industry away.
Yeah, I'm hungry. You know, I'll start now. You know, I would just want to know that you're committed to this, you know, 100%. And I don't know how comfortable I'd feel with you working at another business full time and try to help me out at the same time. So would you be willing to leave your current employer and, you know, come work with me full time? Do you have that much faith in this?
I would have to give that some thought, to be honest. Yeah, I'd have to give it some thought. The company I've been with, you know, they've been good to me, and I only have a year left in the contract. You know, I only have a year left of being the CEO, and then after that 1 year, I'm 100% devoted to. I'm willing to give all my time to what we want to do here with HALAmaterials.
Okay.
So.
So what are your reservations right now of leaving, you know, right now? Let's say you quit your job, you know, in 2 weeks notice and you came to work with me, you know, after 2 weeks. What are your reservations for that?
Really just, the guaranteed pay. Because starting a new business, you're just coming out of college. Starting a new business it's not as easy as it sounds, There's a quote that says, success is not just having a good idea, you have to go out and put the idea into practice and make it a reality. So, we could just rumble off of great ideas, but if we don't execute it the exact way, then, nothing gets done. And so I completely trust you that you have great ideas and that you're willing to do all that. And same with me, I'm ready to get it done, but really just that 1 year is just just a year of guaranteed pay, because starting up a new business, especially this big of a business, the first year, especially the first year, it's not going to be as we won't be making as much money as we will be in 5-10 years down the road.
Yeah, definitely. And if this partnership was to happen, how long would you want to work? I don't want to say you're getting old, but you're getting to the point that you're getting retired, after this next year, right? And so, are you looking to stay retired? Is this just a monetary, income that you want to have and put a little effort into? Like, what are your thoughts for the next 10 years or so?
You can call me old. I am old. I'm 59. But there's no way in heck I'm not gonna work. I still want to work. I still want to. I love working. I love being in a CEO position. I just love it. So I'm willing to work for another at least 5 years, at least 5-10 years.
And would you still want to be involved after that, or are we just cut off at 5 years and I take over the company 100% and we just
I would still want to be involved.
Okay.
Especially if I'm going to put down a big percentage of the money on the business.
Okay.
And own those shares.
So, in terms of money and business and the shares and everything, how much do you think that we need realistically to start, this business?
We need at least 500,000 euros.
Okay. And where are you getting that number from?
Just my expertise. I started up this company. I'm the CEO of it. I've been doing business for 30 plus years.
Okay.
So, at least in that range. Might be, a little less. It could be a little more, but that's what we're looking at.
Okay. And is this based on relationships that you already have with different manufacturers and different companies, or is this just if would I need more than that if I didn't have you, as a partner?
Yeah, that's a good point. You'd probably need a little bit more if you didn't have me as a partner, just because I do know, I know everybody, so.
And how much would you be willing to start this business with? How much would you be willing to put into it monetarily?
I'm willing to put in 90%.
Okay.
Put down 90% of the payment, but that would mean that I would get 90% of the equity as well.
Okay, so before we talk about the equity split, how does that work out with your current employment? Are you able to put down that much? Because wouldn't that be a conflict of interest in a lot of companies?
So yeah, with my company, the contract that I'm on, it only permits me to own 5% at the most of any other competing company. And
Okay.
our company is definitely a competitor to theirs.
So with that 5%, so you're proposing that you would make 90% of the income but only put down 5% of the initial costs.
No, so that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah. But I am able to take out loans through a loan company, a business bank, and so I would be able to put down the 5%, and then through the loan put down the other 85%, and then when I'm done working in a year with Edison Bulbs, I pay off that loan.
Okay. In theory it sounds like a good plan, and I don't know the legal stipulations, but for me, my ethics is one of my strongest suits. I've seen how my dad does his business, of all these years, and I've learned a lot about, what happens if you aren't honest in relationships and business, and it can go south really fast. And, for me, I really want to make sure that my personal ethics, which is making sure there's no, back alley deals, no total, kickbacks or anything crazy like that. And right now it's sounding a little bit sketchy, this whole loan process.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's totally legal from what I know of. I've had a lot of friends do it before, so as long as because the bank will be paying the 85%,
Okay.
and I'll be just paying the 5%.
So from my standpoint, really what I need from you and what I value most is your wisdom, right, in your consultation. And the initial cost, it would be helpful to have that money from you, but I would only want to do that 5% because I don't want you to get into any legal or financial problems, and I don't want to be reliable for those either. And so what I'd be willing to offer you is 10% of the company, and you put down that 5% of the initial cost, and then we work on our partnership after this year from now.
I don't think. So you're saying I put down the 5% and then.
And I'm giving you 10% of the equity.
10% of the equity.
And that's just to give advice, for a year.
Okay. Would I still be the CEO?
So if we were to make you CEO, I don't know how I'd feel comfortably about that, because if I wanted to work for another CEO, I'd just go work for my dad, or I'd stay in my current position. I really want to be able to have a say in things, because these are my ideas. These are something I want to start, and I don't want to just be kind of told what to do. So I'd like to see this more as like a partnership, equal when it comes to ideas and the way we operate things.
Yeah, we would definitely be on the same page, but if we'd definitely be on the same page, but I think with my expertise and I'm not saying that you don't know anything, but with my expertise and my experience, I think I'm in the position to make the decisions with your help. You'd be in the COO position.
Okay.
You wouldn't be some scrub down there working on a machine. Sorry, that sounded really rude, but you would definitely be in all the meetings with me. They would be a mutual decision-making process.
Okay, and then with that title CEO, I'm expecting that you want more compensation. Is that kind of what we're getting at?
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of compensation are you looking to receive?
So if you don't, I'm willing to put down a loan. I really am. But if you don't want to get into that, which I understand and agree, I'm gonna want at least, especially if I'm gonna be there, most of the time. Being a CEO, you have to be there.
Yeah.
It's like a full-time job. So I'm gonna need a little more than just 10%.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is this isn't a long-term position for you, in terms of years, because you're going to want to fully retire, at some point.
Yeah, correct.
And you can't leave your current employer for another year without losing your retirement benefits, and I understand that, and I wouldn't expect you to do that. So let's say after a year of, consulting and everything, and you put down the 5%, and you're making that 10% in equity that I'm giving you, and I'm putting down 95% of the initial cost. After that first year, when you're able to contribute more money, we can talk about a figure, let's say $1 million, right? You add $1 million to where we're already at in terms of profit, and then you receive 40% of the company at that point.
I'm thinking a little more towards 50, or even more than that, because if I'm the CEO, I'm getting with all my experience, and I'm the CEO at this company right now. We're doing pretty good, so I'm thinking at least 60, and then like you said, I'm getting old. I'm not planning on retiring anytime soon, but within the next five years, maybe at the least 10 years, I would be willing to offer the CEO position to you, especially because we're doing this together, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm willing to give that position to you, and I'll even be willing to sell some of my shares. Not
Okay.
all of them, but some of them.
So I like where we're heading. I really do think we're getting close to the same page, and we're getting close to some figures that we both like. With you transitioning out in 5 years or so, obviously a lot more responsibility is going to fall on me.
Correct.
And so the way I see it is the more work you do, the more share you should see. So what I'm thinking is after the year, I put down the initial costs, and I put down the 95%, and you put down the 5% that you're legally allowed to do. And then after a year, you can contribute, let's say $500,000 more to our business, and you receive 50% of the shares. And then every year after, we slowly transition to where a 5% split. So after year 2, I would have 55%, you would have 45%. After year 3, I would be 60%, you'd be 40%. All the meanwhile, you're transitioning lower and lower in time. Does that make sense? So you're investing less time and more in just a consultant role. And then at that 5-year, I would buy you out, of everything, and you would just walk away.
Well, the main purpose of business is to keep making money, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of like the idea where you're heading, but even when I'm all the way out, I want to have an ownership in this company, especially how I'm a big part of it starting up.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of faith in this business, and I know you do too, or else you wouldn't be talking to a 24-year-old kid with an MBA, right? And I have a lot of confidence that we're going to gain some real revenue, in 5 years. And so when we buy you out, we'll stick with those same numbers. We'll start at the 50 and we'll transition 5%. But at the end of it, after you retire, I let you keep 10%, no questions asked, just 10%. And that was just for all that you've done. So you don't have to do any consulting work or anything. You just keep 10% annually until, we either sell out the business completely or...
Okay, so that would be 8 years after I've retired, correct?
8 years after you retire?
Because it would go down 5% each year, and then it would be decreasing for 8 years, and then I would stay at the 10%.
Yeah, and we transition. So basically, you get 25% for doing nothing the first year retired, and all the way down to 10% after like the 6th year retired, and then after that, you're still getting 10% for not doing anything. And that gives you, time and ample money to do whatever it is that you want to do with your real retirement.
How does 20 sound?
20 annually.
20% after I'm done.
That sounds good in theory, but I don't know how long you're gonna live. You could live to be 90, and you could be making 20%, for doing nothing for 20 years from now. And for me, I'd want to see a little bit less. So I'd settle with like 11%.
18.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything more than 11. If you're only putting in 500 of the initial cost, and you're still making a lot more revenue off of me, and like I don't see how it would add up that you'd make more than 11%.
How does 12 sound?
I would settle for 12.
Okay.
Okay.
So just to make things clear, I'm putting down 5% of. And just a curious question: where are you getting all that money? You just came out of college.
I have other ways of investing. I've worked really hard, and I've had other relationships. And I have ways to get that money for investing. And like I said, this is my company that I really invested in. And if it means taking out even a personal loan, I would do that. Because I'm that confident in my abilities to get this business started.
Okay. So just an overview. I put down 5% of the initial startup, and then I would be the CEO until I decide to retire.
Yeah, 5 years.
And it would be 50-50, correct? Of the equity.
Yep, for the first 5 years, and then every year after that, or every year after the first year, we would start the 5% split.
And then
up until 12%.
And I'd settle with 12.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have a deal.
Awesome.
Nice doing business.
Ooh, that was a long